All right, well, hello there, the internet. We missed a couple weeks because work schedules are fun, but we're back here now after, I don't want to say a great weekend in Martinsville, but it was definitely a weekend in Martinsville.
I'm back from my nap.
Back from your nap. Oh, yeah, that's right. No, you did. I took a nap, too, so a little bit earlier today.
Yeah.
Actually, fun fact, when you texted me about the podcast, I was still laying in bed.
Ah. I think I was just getting food.
Look at us being productive members of society. But anyway, where do you want to start on this? Because we missed a couple weeks. There's a lot of things that happened. Specifically, rain tires and the truck series. That's kind of what I want to complain about for a minute.
Well, what was the last podcast we did? Did we do circuit?
I think the last one we did was Coda. Because we missed Bristol and we missed wherever the hell we were before Bristol. Yeah, we missed Richmond and Bristol.
I mean, not a whole lot went on. I mean, nothing too. I mean, there's stories that we missed, but
I was
we'll
gonna
get
say,
to that later.
You can't say we didn't miss anything because oof.
Yeah, there's some stories that we missed there. But we'll get to that.
Okay, you want to wait on that? You want to get Martinsville out of the way first?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So I guess wet tires for the truck series. Kind of a disappointment, in my opinion. Just because, like, you know, in the beginning, they ran the trucks and the rain tires, and I think there was a lot of hype to it. Seeing, like, you know, everybody talk about it, you know, waiting for that to happen, and then now the moment happened, and it was just kind of a letdown. And then not only that, but there's a lot of, like, caution flags. After that, I didn't watch the whole race, but just seeing, like, recaps and, like, all the videos on Twitter and YouTube, it just seems kind of like a I mean, I hate to say it, but it just seemed like a dumpster fire.
You missed
a lot of
nothing.
caution flags. Yeah, and just not a whole lot going on. And then towards the end, where I think it started raining, people were like, "Oh, they're gonna put the rain tires back on." I think that's what a lot of people were expecting, but they called it. They called it and it just says, "No, we're done racing. It's over," and that's that. It's a little bit disappointing. I was kind of hoping them to kind of finish the race in the rain tires, just because, you know, hey, we have the rain tires. That's the whole reason why we bought them there for. But yeah, and then didn't finish it. Just ended the race under rain, and that was that. So yeah, it's just kind of disappointing. Oh, and then I guess, like, the whole there was one thing out of that race was the Carson Hocevar. Sorry.
Yeah.
Carson Hocevar.
I want to get that there in a second, though, because with the rain tires, are you done on the rain tire rant? Or?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, I wanted to make sure you were done with your thought before I chimed in. But my thing with the rain tires is, I think the problem, because I saw a couple people say, and I think they also said on the broadcast a couple times, where I guess NASCAR said they weren't going to race in the rain, but they were going to race on wet weather conditions. And so I think the problem started when NASCAR was advertising it as rain tires, and we were breaking rain tires and wet weather packages, because then that, to me as a fan, that tells me, oh, we're going to race in the rain. And knowing it's an oval, obviously I knew we weren't going to race in, like, heavy downpours, but, like, I don't know why we couldn't race in the spring, because it was sprinkling. Like, the second it started sprinkling, they, like, red flagged the race, and I was like, dude, it's not even raining that hard. It's like, I think we could probably make a couple pace laps, see how hard the rain is, and if it's a sprinkle, I'm pretty sure we could race in that, and even just a damp racetrack. But it was just a mess, the whole thing. It was just, they kept advertising wet weather packages and the rain tires, and then we only used them for 15 laps, and the track was mostly dry. I think that's what other drivers and teams were mad about too, is that, like, we brought all these wet weather tires and these rain tires and stuff, and we put them on and raced on them for 15 laps on a track that was like 90% dry at that point. And I think that's also where all the letdown from the fan base came too, and then all the bursts of rain and just I don't want to call it false advertising, because it wasn't false advertising, but the miscommunication as to what the tires were actually meant for really led to a lot of people who were upset and confused. Even the crews didn't even know what was going on half the time. It was the whole rain fiasco was just kind of a mess.
Yeah, just kind of let down, and then, you know, just I guess everybody was just kind of confused, like you said, like they didn't really know what to expect. Because, I mean, I think from everybody's perspective, they thought that they were just going to race in the rain or just in wet conditions in general.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too.
But, yeah, overall, it just wasn't, I mean, that wasn't that great. I mean, I hate to say it, but the racing was just not that great. I mean, I think you said it was like, what, 15 laps of green lap racing?
At the beginning, I think that was the longest stretch. Whenever the comp yellow was, because they went green, they ran until the fall off was a lot, and then they threw the yellow for the competition caution to put slicks back on. And that run, however long it was, somewhere like 15, 20 laps, was the longest green flag stretch we had. So.
Yeah. So it's kind of, I mean, it's sad to say that's the longest green flag run. And then not only, I mean, I guess the truck series in general hasn't really, they've been having some issues with, like, just, I guess, racing in general. I mean, there's been a lot of wrecks and, like, people just taking each other out. In the past few weeks.
Entered the chat.
Yeah. Carson Hocevar. I mean, from my perspective, I think, he just cleaned him out.
Tried to clean himself out.
He tried cleaning the guy out, and then he just cleaned himself out. It's not a good look. I mean, for a guy that who got his first win, what was it, last week or a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, last weekend at Texas. No, not last weekend.
I think it was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
That was Richmond.
Yeah, it was a Richmond weekend, so it was 2 weeks ago at this point.
Yeah, so the guy got his first win, and he kind of does something like that. It just doesn't look that great for him. And then not only that, he's had a lot of, reputation of him doing that, not just from this year, but from last year. IRP, he took somebody out.
It was a 91, wasn't it? He right-hooked the 91 truck into the wall at IRP, I think it was. Successfully that time.
Yeah, successfully. And then Charlotte, him and Priest got into it. And then there's a couple other ones. They're not, intentional wrecking, but it's just kind of bad sportsmanship. And it's just, I remember the Vegas one where he just kind of spun out just to throw the caution.
Painfully
obvious.
And then
Talladega. He did the same thing.
Dude, Talladega, he might as well have just parked his truck and said, "Look at me, I'm turning around," because it was like,
yeah, it's just, it doesn't look that great. So yeah, I mean that's all I got for trucks.
God, well, the problem with Carson Hocevar too is that, like, most people, especially with younger drivers and stuff, they'll give you the benefit of the doubt because there was radio communication when he did come down across the back of the 17. When they parked him. Apparently, there was radio on the radio that was saying that, was it not clear I had a tire down? He was claiming he didn't have control of the truck, and because of the tire that was flat, that's why the truck jolted down to the left like that. Which, in most cases, you could give somebody the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, well, yeah, he got mushed, the tire went down, maybe the truck did lean to the left. But then it's like the Ross Chastain effect with what Christopher Bell said after the Richmond race, where he called in the wrecking ball, even though he hadn't nothing to do with the incident that happened. When you build yourself a reputation and then something happens, you kind of lose the benefit of the doubt. And
yeah,
for all we know, Carson Hocevar might have been telling the truth. He might have actually not had control of the truck at that point in time. However, with his history and just looking at what was happening, he loses the benefit of the doubt in that situation.
Yeah, I mean that's just what happens when you race like that. People are not going to give you the the benefit of the doubt. They're gonna think that you're, they're gonna think like your intentions are for the worst. They're not gonna be like they're gonna think like you're just trying to wreck me because like what you've done in the past. So if you're a clean racer, it's gonna be a completely different story where it's like, oh, I had a tire going down, and they'll be like, oh, okay, I kind of understand that. But if you kind of build up that reputation where you're gonna constantly just, push people or wreck people out of the way, then, people are not going to give you the benefit of doubt. So,
yeah, that's just how it goes. Those are just lessons that Mr. Carson Hocevar is going to have to learn sooner than later.
But yeah, that's all I got for trucks.
Right. I was going to say, there really wasn't much to note off of trucks. Like, the only noteworthy thing from trucks was the rain fiasco and Carson Hocevar. Corey Heim got the win, though, so let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch finishing second. Kyle Busch said that he had a long run truck, and that's why he came up second. Was just didn't have the short run truck to catch Corey.
Yeah. I think if that race would have went green, or if they would have had a little more time, he would have caught up to him and had a chance at it. But, yeah, like you said, he had a long run car, and there wasn't a whole lot that he can do at that time. So,
yeah, and also looking at the finishing results here, I'm gonna say this wrong, but I want to give a shout out to William. What is that? Sawowicz? I'm probably saying that wrong.
Sawowicz?
Yeah, William, if you're watching, you're probably not. But if you are, let me know how to say your name so I don't butcher it in the future. I want to give a shout out to him making his Truck Series debut. I did not realize he was 16. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
No, he's 16. And what makes that even more impressive is that first start parks it in the top 10. And he also got door slammed by, yours truly, Carson Hocevar, going into turn 1 and drifted that truck through the corner and saved it. Kept going. Did not crash that. 16 years old. Got body slammed full speed and saved it.
I think I remember you telling me that he went on the radio and just was like, what was he doing?
Yeah, he did. He was even confused. He was like, what's going on?
Oh.
So I just want to give a shout out to him.
Day.
That's a great finish. And then Jake Garcia, 13th. Jake Garcia has done nothing but impress me since he's gotten to full time in trucks.
Yeah, finishing top 15, not too bad. Who else?
That's really all I had.
Chris Wright, top 16. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure to give him a shout out because it's like these young drivers, a lot of them super, super talented. Because Jake Garcia is 18 now. He missed Daytona because he was underage, but he's been full time with the truck since. And he's gotten, I think, more top 10s than not. And then William Swallowich. I'm not even going to try. Then we have William debut parks at top 10. So, like, we got some good talents coming up through the ladder. And I really hope they take their time with these drivers.
Yeah, I really hope so, too. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I got for trucks.
I'm going to be honest, I was kind of busy during the Xfinity race, so I wasn't really able to watch a lot of it. So I don't really have some immediate notes on it.
I don't have a whole lot either. The only thing I want to point out is Brendan Jones got a top 5, which is awesome for him because I know he's been having some kind of bad luck these past few races.
Mm-hmm. And he's pretty good at Martinsville, too. So
yeah. Did you see the beef between Joe Graff Jr. and Alpha Prime?
Dude, the Twitter beef, yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty brilliant, actually.
Yeah, I forgot which car it was. I think it was the 43.
Yeah, it was Ryan Ellis and Joe Graff.
Ah.
Pretty sure it was Ryan Ellis. Ryan Ellis sounds correct, yeah. I don't have the tweet up in front of me right now, but it was pretty glorious from what I remember. Oh, yeah, I think they said that we got Joe Graff Jr.'d.
Yeah. Scheduled tweet or something like that.
Yeah, scheduled tweet. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I love Twitter beef. It's great.
Yeah, that was funny.
Harmless Twitter beef is always fun. Then there was the Sam Mayer and Ryan Truex incident. That was pretty fun.
Oh, yeah. Man, that dude has bad luck with Joe Gibbs.
Joe Gibbs racing cars, yeah. Because it was this race last year where he got into it with Ty.
Yeah, he got into it with Ty in the spring race, and now it's Ryan Truex this year.
Yeah, where did
no punches thrown this year, so that's good.
just Sam Mayer reminding Joe Gibbs racing that they're number one.
Yeah.
And where did Ryan Truex end up finishing? So I know Sam Mayer ended up with the DNF, but Truex ended up 12th, so just outside the top 10.
Oh yeah, at 12th. Parker Retzlaff, 11th place finish.
Dude, Josh Williams was the top 20.
Josh Williams in the top 20, not too bad.
Yeah.
Blaine Perkins got a top 15.
I feel bad for Honeycutt, though, because he's making his debut. Was actually running pretty decently before he blew that engine.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, he was making his debut, qualified the car in, was actually running pretty okay, and then engine grenaded. So.
And then Riley Herbst, wasn't he running decent too?
Yeah, he was actually up in the top 5. He got cleaned out in one of those crashes.
Yeah, because I saw he got taken out, but I couldn't remember where he was running at. Like, I don't know if he was running top 10 or top 5. But...
I think he was top 5. I remember right. For some reason, last night's race just feels like a blur to me. I don't know why. I don't even think I was doing anything that important, but I remember seeing Riley Herbst just get absolutely cleaned out. But speaking of noteworthy finishes, though, Cole Custer, that team is finally looks like they turned something around third. And he qualified on the pole, so he got the pole position and then went and finished third.
Nice.
They're doing it. They're figuring it out.
Mr. Cole getting it done. Because honestly, I think he needed that. I think he needed a good run.
Yeah, he really did. They've been having an interesting year. Not a great year. Not a terrible year. It could be worse. He's still top 10 in points, but not really a super noteworthy season.
The way that they... Yeah. I mean, I was kind of hoping they'll have a better run this year, but yeah, it's not too terrible.
Yeah, well,
I think they'll...
Still a little bit early, so they'll start turning it around here soon, I hope. You got anything else in Xfinity? Because I really don't think much happened in that race either that I can remember outside of the beef.
Nope, that's it. That's all I got. Besides the whole John Hunter Nemechek flame show at the end.
Oh yeah, that was one of the greatest sponsored plugs ever too.
It was.
I didn't even realize he was sponsored by fire safety stuff until he got out of the car and was like, yeah, we use all the fire safety stuff, and then we're going to put the fire out. I was like, wow, what a big brain move. Just let me explode the car real fast so I can plug my sponsors.
They probably told him that. Just put the car on fire so we can plug our sponsor.
Yeah, they probably saw what Zane Smith did when, hey, these mud flaps are really flammable, so just do a burnout until the thing explodes, and then we can have the perfect sponsor plug.
He's like, bet.
That was great. Dude, have you seen the photos?
Yeah.
Oh.
Shout out to Getty Images, man. Jesus.
I was going to say, whoever took
those
photos.
They have some pretty gnarly shots. Not even them, too. It's just like the Joe Gibbs photographers. They were just like on it.
I was going to say, God, whoever got pictures of that burnout. I have yet to see a bad photo of that burnout.
Yeah, it was a really, really nice shot. But
I can't believe we almost brushed past that. Wow, my brain really is failing me right now. I'm still tired for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm tired too.
So let's see. You know what we forgot to do? So are you good on Xfinity stuff?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, so we also brushed past trucks. You can tell it's been a minute since we've done a podcast. Let's backtrack to trucks really fast, just so I can do the points readout for the truck series really fast. So I'm trying to remember who was the points leader. I'm pretty sure Zane Smith was the points leader last time we did a podcast after whatever race it was. I don't even remember what race it was, but
I think so.
Yeah, but looking at truck series points now, Ty Majeski's been having a really, really consistent season. So Ty Majeski is actually going to take over the points lead from Zane Smith, and it's actually built up a pretty comfortable points lead over Zane Smith. And then third is going to be Ben Rhodes, followed by Corey Heim and Grant Enfinger, rounding out the top 5. In sixth place, I'm going to have Christian Eckes, followed by Tanner Gray, Matt Crafton, Chase Purdy, and Jake Garcia, despite missing Daytona, has climbed his way into 10th. So.
Okay, so on my points...
The actual points.
I got the actual points. Ty Majeski, Zane Smith, Ben Rhodes, Corey Heim, Christian Eckes, Grant Enfinger, Matt Crafton, Tanner Gray, Matty D, and Chase Purdy.
Dude, our points are exactly the same up until Grant Enfinger.
Majeski, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I'm not really surprised, but he ran really well last year. But damn, I would have thought Zane Smith would have like the points lead taken away, but he's doing pretty good this year.
I don't think Ty Majeski has a finish outside of the top 10. Maybe he does. I don't know. Actually, we can go check the driver stats because I know Ty Majeski's had a really, really consistent season. I feel like every time I'm looking at the results, Ty Majeski is somewhere in the top 5, if not the top 10. So let me see. Yeah, he's finished in the top 10 6 of the 7 races, and 5 of them were top 5s.
Damn.
His average finish is 5th. So he has had a really good season.
Yeah, 5 top 5, 6 top 10s. Not too bad. No,
I was going to say, and an average starting spot of 4th and an average finishing position of 5th. So he's been Ty Majeski, he's been real quiet, but real consistent.
He's on the revenge tour.
Yeah, the revenge tour.
Because, I mean, shit, I think he came close last year. He had, like, some mechanical... Or, no, he got involved in a wreck, I think, at Phoenix.
I think so.
Last year.
Yeah, so I would definitely... Anybody who's into sports betting, keep an eye on Ty Majeski, because he's been real sneaky. A real sneaky boy this year. So,
sneaky little snake.
Yeah, he is. And then... Now, heading back into Xfinity, just taking a peek at the Xfinity Series points. To nobody's surprise, John Hunter Nemechek is the points leader. He's finally dethroned Austin Hill. Austin Hill's had a little bit of a fall off the last couple of weeks, and so John Hunter Nemechek was able to catch and surpass him in the points. Josh Berry running third, followed by the Smiths, Chandler Smith, and then Sammy Smith closing out the top five. Justin Allgaier in sixth, Riley Herbst, Cole Custer, Sam Mayer, and Daniel Hemrick in the top 10.
Ah. I'm going to keep my eye on Chandler Smith because he's been a little sneaky sneak this year.
Him too.
Yeah. Let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to put my food away. John Hunter Nemechek leading the points, followed by Austin Hill, Chandler Smith, Riley Herbst, Josh Berry, Justin Allgaier, Sammy Smith, Cole Custer, Daniel Hemrick, and Sheldon Creed.
Oh, God. The DVR points and the official points are same drivers, but all different orders.
I'm kind of curious about Riley Herbst because, I mean, he's been really quiet this year as far as, like, you know, the point standings. He's running fourth right now. So let's take a look. He has 2 top 5s and 6 top 10s. And he only has 1 DNF.
Yeah, which was Martinsville.
Yeah. So I think that he's going to be good this year. I think he's also on a sort of a revenge tour. I mean, I wouldn't say revenge tour, but he wasn't really that hot last year.
I would call it a revenge tour because people, I mean, a lot of people were kind of hard on him, us included. We weren't super light on him either because he's been in the sport long enough to have kind of know his way around doing things. And so the fact that he was running as poorly as he was in SHR equipment last year, I would call it a revenge tour because we're seeing a completely different Riley Herbst this year. I think we mentioned that the last podcast too, where it's like he's been wildly consistent for what we're used to seeing out of Riley Herbst.
That's true. And not only that, he's also outrunning his teammate.
Yeah, that too.
Josh Berry, he's been pretty... I'm not too surprised of the junior motorsports guys. The one I'm kind of disappointed on is Sam Mayer, I think.
Make sure
I kind of wish he would kind of be up there. Yeah.
I mean, he's been getting in a lot of accidents. They're not all his fault, though. He's been getting in some weird scenarios. But
yeah, because, I mean, he has 2 DNFs, too.
Yeah, one of them was his flip at Daytona was one of them.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
That was not his fault. But here's the thing. JRM has actually gotten better since they stopped the domestic terrorism. So it's amazing what they can do when they're not fighting each other.
Hey, guys, I got an idea. Let's not fight. Okay.
Until you sat them down and said, I got a plan. Everyone's like, what's that? Stop wrecking each other. Like, you know what? Sounds good to me.
I didn't think of that.
Wow. Now they're finishing in the top 10. Yeah, because hold on. Yeah, three of the JRM cars finished in the top 10.
Yeah, they're doing a lot better this year.
And just outside the top 5. Justin Allgaier finished 6th. So they were all just... Because Berry finished 4th and Jones was 5th. Allgaier just missed the top 5. So, yeah. And then Mayer had his DNF. So, and Mayer was actually running pretty decently, too. So had Mayer not in DNF, we probably could have seen all 4 JRM cars in the top 10.
Oh, yeah, for sure. One driver that I'm kind of looking out is Parker Kligerman. I feel like he's kind of like... All right, I think he's still trying to, bounce back from that, kind of a rough start this year. He's kind of had...
They're kind of
some bad luck.
The 48 team has been real hit or miss this year. I'm not sure how... They've either been up in the mix, like at Atlanta, they were really up in that mix, but then go to other tracks and they're nowhere to be seen. So I still feel like they have a little bit of work to do. They've been real up and down.
Yeah, because that team's capable of winning. I mean, we saw it last year with Tyler Reddick, but I think they have some room for improvement. But yeah, they only have one top 5. We have 3 top 10s. And I mean, there's been times where Parker, he's been really close to winning races. I mean, he could have won Atlanta for sure. But there's been times where he's
Brian Vickers impression.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's times where I think he's gonna win, but there's some times where he just doesn't really show a lot.
We could have seen a photo finish at Atlanta, and I'm still mad about that because Parker had the run.
Yeah, he did. He did have the run. He honestly probably would have won the race there.
I don't know if he would have won it, but he would have come damn close had he not.
If he wouldn't have got wrecked, yeah.
Yeah, if he hadn't gotten turned, we could have seen a super close finish at Atlanta. But,
Because, I mean, I feel like Parker can put some good finishes in there. Because, I mean, Richmond, he put a top 10.
Yeah.
Circuit of the Americas, it wasn't really his fault because he had a mechanical issue. Atlanta, he still finished 4th. Vegas, I'm sorry, not Vegas. Phoenix, he finished top 15. He wasn't really there a lot. Vegas, he got spun out early. He kind of had a rebound from that. Still came home 11th. Vegas, or not Vegas, sorry, I keep saying Vegas, Jesus. Auto Club, he finished top 10, which isn't too bad. Daytona, it's always like a wreck fest, so you're not always going to be guaranteed to finish top 10.
Take a grain of salt into Daytona because that's you can't really judge them too hard off their Daytona finishes.
Yeah. So I mean, they definitely got the speed and the chance to put good finishes on the board, but it's just a matter of the luck.
You know what? Something I just remembered, too. I remembered it a few minutes ago, but I didn't want to interrupt you. Josh Berry from Martinsville. I just want to also... The Martinsville race is starting to come back to me. I don't know why my brain fogged up during this podcast, but I remember that had Josh Berry had, probably 50 more laps, Josh Berry probably could have been contending for the win at Martinsville, too, because he came tearing up through the field.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think so, too. Because, I mean, he finished 4th.
Yeah, so. And he was closing on the leaders, too. I'm trying to remember what happened to him. I think it was either a spin or a pit penalty. Something happened to him that put him back. And the man just came screaming up through the field.
Yeah. Yeah, he probably would have won that thing for sure.
Yeah, just ran out of laps.
Yeah. But, I mean, John Hunter, he had Sammy Smith, helping him hold off everybody that was trying to pass him, so... I don't know. I still feel like Josh Berry would have gotten past both of them because he had a really fast car.
He was blowing people's doors off coming up the field.
Watch out for the bullet.
Yeah, but that's really all I got for Xfinity, though. Xfinity Series is always really interesting to watch. It's never a dull moment. There's always something going on.
I like the Xfinity Series. It's always puts on a good show. So
yeah. The guest commentators every week are always fun.
I love the commentating. I love I love having Logano on there. I think it's always fun when I have Logano and Blaney. It just always makes it entertaining. They always make a good duo.
The Adam Alexander, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano combination is goated. Brad Keselowski's pretty good in the booth too, because that's who was in the booth this weekend was Keselowski.
Yeah,
he's pretty good too. I don't know what it is about the Blaney Logano Alexander combination though, but that's always just perfect, beautiful.
I prefer that for every Xfinity race.
Oh yeah, because I know Logano said during the broadcast he signs up for all of them that he can, and you know what, I like that actually because Logano's really good in the booth.
Yeah, and he's very knowledgeable. He knows what he's talking about, and not only that, but he has fun with it, and that's what's important in the broadcast booth. Because if you get somebody that's boring, just oh, well, he's run pretty good so far. It's if you get somebody like that, it's just it's very boring. People are gonna want to tune out. They're not gonna pay attention. But if you get somebody like Logano who makes it interesting, he gets people involved. He talks. He's very knowledgeable about certain things, depending on what the situation is. But he also he jokes around with it and makes it fun. So
and when it is awkward and silent, usually they start laughing at it.
Yeah, they don't just make it oh god.
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember what race it was. I'm pretty sure this was when Blaney was in the booth too. Somebody said something and there was a good 3 or 4 seconds of silence, and somebody was like, "No comment, nothing," and then they just start giggling. It's a fun time.
Like,
Xfinity booth is a great place.
Yeah, it's like I always like put it as like when you get like the substitute teachers.
Yeah,
you get that one cool one, and then like, you get that one boring one.
Aw.
Like Logano's like that cool substitute teacher that just makes it worth coming to class.
Yeah, whatever NASCAR and Fox is doing at the Xfinity booth is really, really working. I enjoy it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like it too.
Who do they say is in the booth next week? Isn't Blaney back in the booth next week at Talladega?
I think so.
I think so.
If so, I'm definitely tuning in. So.
Oh, for sure. Because it's going to be Adam Alexander, I think Ryan Blaney. I know Joey Logano said he was going to be back. I don't remember. I really don't remember. I'll find out later. I'll see who's in the Talladega booth.
I'll be watching at the bull ring.
There you go. Oh, that's right. You're going to the bull ring. I have other things to do, so I probably shouldn't go to the bull ring. But any whomps, you ready to roll into today's fun little paperclip race?
Sure.
I'm making noises because I don't want to talk about it. But
I guess we can start off with
nothing. I mean, it was a little bit better than last year. The last year's spring race was definitely terrible. This was less terrible, but it still wasn't great. So.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like in the group text, it's like it's improved a lot, but there's definitely still room for improvement. I mean, if you looked at Richmond, if we look at the 3 short track packages that they had, Richmond was the best one for sure.
Oh yeah, Richmond was really good.
Richmond was probably one of the best ones. Phoenix was like, not that great. And then again, Phoenix has kind of always been like that. Martinsville, I was very iffy about, just because. I mean, we saw how it looked last year, and I'm like, there's no way that we're gonna get like from like literally like rock bottom to the top. I think there's gonna be some time where it's gonna take a little bit of time to get it right, but I didn't think it was gonna be that like spectacular like how Richmond was.
So what you're saying is it hit your expectations, Martinsville this year.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have a lot of expectations for this, but I mean, like, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting a whole lot of out of Martinsville just because of how last year looked. I was like, it might look a little bit better, but I'm not expecting a whole lot. I mean, I watched a little bit of it and seeing that there's a lot of passes in the midfield, which is kind of nice to see. Drivers weren't always having to like just literally like ram the hell out of you just to get out of the way. I saw a little bit of like side by side action, so that was nice to see.
Once the field got strung out, it was abysmal. But on the restarts and early on, when they could race side by side, it was pretty good. But we saw the same issues throughout pretty much all the races this weekend. Was if the leader once the green flag flew after like 2 or 3 laps, the top 3 was pretty much set, and you were just kind of fighting for every position behind you. And that was really evident today on the restarts and stuff, where it's like coming off of turn 2, whoever the top 3 were just going to be the top 3, and everybody was just kind of fighting behind them. And then it got strung out, and that's when it was impossible to pass until you hit lap traffic, and then you could kind of use the lap traffic as picks. So it's like the pack racing was good, but once you got strung out, you couldn't really do anything. That's what some of the drivers are saying today too. Like there was interview with Denny Hamlin that I didn't watch the whole thing, but I kind of read the quotes from it. Denny Hamlin was kind of saying that where you just couldn't pass when you were in the pack. If you were up front, you were chilling, but if you were back in the pack, you just couldn't do anything. And that's just how the next gen is.
Yeah, I mean, even on the restarts too, I saw how like the leader just pulled away. I think when Ryan Preece took the green flag, he had like almost a 2-second lead.
He led every single lap up to What, he led the first 130 something laps, I think. He
led the whole stage,
first
stage, and I think after the pit stops he got the penalty. So, I mean, everybody who led, like, was a leader could pretty much just pull away. And then, I mean, you can slowly see them kind of reel them back in because you saw how Priest pulled away and then Suarez kind of caught back up to him. I mean, I think that had to do with more of the fact that he was hitting lap traffic. So,
yeah,
it's kind of hard to say.
So lap traffic really slows you down.
So I think that kind of put that into effect with, you know, Suarez catching back up with Priest. So, yeah.
I think it was Jeff Gluck who said there. I think there were 2 green flag passes for the lead in this race. I think we had 2 or 3.
I mean, it's a lot better than 1.
Actually, no, it would have been 3 because Larson took the lead pretty late. So I think we had 3 green flag passes for the lead, which in a race that went majority green, that's not fun.
No, but it's a lot better than 1 from last year.
That's also true. Last year was the first year I think I can ever say that I was glad I missed a Martinsville race. Because we were at the bull ring during this race last year.
I do remember that.
Something. Do you have anything else about the race? Because really nothing happened during the race. The tire thing was interesting, where the flag man was up in the flag stand staring at the tire for a good 30-40 seconds before NASCAR called the yellow.
Yeah, that was kind of odd just to see that happen. There was something else. Harvick's tire just broke, which is kind of weird. It just
yeah.
What's funny is like the same thing what happened to Almirola at Phoenix, which is like really weird. I don't know what's going on with the tires. It's like last year we had cars catching on fire, and now we have tires like breaking apart. I don't know what's going on. It's just really, really odd to see how that's happening because this is the second time we've seen it happen. I really hope this is the last time we see it because I don't want to see a weird trend of just tires like breaking apart. Because that will be really concerning.
Yeah.
What else?
The rims were cracking, weren't they? Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, I don't know if like they reuse these rims or like if they recycle them and just I don't know. I really don't know the whole story of like how these rims are used or if they're reused again. Because I know like the teams like they lease them from Goodyear, so like they're not owned by the teams. They're just like leased off of Goodyear. So like when they go to the track, they just buy the tires with the rims and that's it.
Yeah, I would assume they're reused if they're in good condition, which I guess that would lead to the cracking issues if maybe you miss something or a tire's been in the life cycle long enough and it just starts cracking. I don't know. I really don't know what would cause that. I feel like you wouldn't put out a tire if you feel like the rim was going to crack on you.
Yeah, it's really weird. But and then I think something else that happened was the Corey LaJoie and Kyle Busch thing.
Oh yeah. I missed that completely.
Yeah, I saw that. It was just like kind of weird. Like I think it looked like Kyle just like kind of pushed up on Corey a little bit, and then Corey just kind of like door slammed him, tried to push him into the inside wall. And I think Kyle just like had enough of it, and then I think when they went into turn 3, he just kind of moved him out of the way and just shuffled him back. So
yeah, yay beef.
It's what's for dinner.
Yeah, no Twitter beef from what I saw. Just some. I think that was really one of the bigger things that happened was the LaJoie versus Busch thing. Just them shoving around on each other. Good old Martinsville racing.
Yeah.
But there was something. There were 2 things of note. One of them, actually, hold on. We both pretty much noticed this. We're both taking credit in noticing this because I noticed that the 51 car finished 34th the last 2 weeks in a row, and then you went and looked at the Richmond result and saw that the 51 also finished 34th in Richmond. And so we have a fun little nugget that we noticed that the 51 car has finished in the exact same spot with 3 different drivers 3 weeks in a row. And so I don't think Rick Ware has said anything about who's going to be in the car at Talladega at this point. Because we're recording this on Monday. Obviously, today is Sunday. Sorry, it is Sunday night. So by the time this podcast hits YouTube, I'm sure there'll be some kind of announcement by Wednesday I highly doubt there won't be. But as of the time of recording, we don't know who's going to be in the 51 car at Talladega. Assuming it's Zane Smith, or not Zane Smith, if it's a different driver, I want them to finish 34th and keep the streak alive, because I think that'd be really funny if we could get 4 of the same finishing results of 4 different drivers.
Did they get bonus points for finishing in the same spot?
I mean, I'll give them bonus points. You know what? I'm going to do this just for fun, because I know if there's a different driver in Talladega and they finish 34th, I will give them 10 extra points just for fun. For keeping the streak alive points, because I can do that.
Rick Ware is listening very closely.
He is. I mean, I don't do the owner's points. I just do the driver's points. And so, like, if they finish 34th, they're not going to get a ton of points. But, 10 extra points isn't going to change the overall points picture that much. So, like, I think just for the shits and giggles of it, giving them 10 points if they finish 34th with a different driver would be really funny. So I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And
that'll be cool.
But if it's Zane Smith, then, no pressure. I hope they get a good finish with Zane Smith. But if it's a different driver, that's where the trick is, if it's not Zane Smith. And the second nugget, you brought this up first. You said that Hendrick drivers were the only drivers with multiple wins this season, to which then I immediately went and looked up the schedule and noticed that for just points races, so this doesn't include the Clash and the duels because they're not points races, but Hendrick Motorsports as an organization is also the only multi-winning team, which I thought was also really interesting.
It just blows my mind, because I'm just like, I thought about it, I'm just like, well, I mean, for the drivers, yeah, it makes sense, but I don't think they're the only organization that has multiple wins, but yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I was like, well, all right.
Look at the schedule and you go, wait a minute. Yeah, because just for the audience, if you're not looking at the scoring sheets, the Daytona 500, obviously Ricky Stenhouse won that, so that's 1 for JTG. Then we go to the Auto Club, won by Kyle Busch and Richard Childress, so now that's 2 drivers, 2 organizations. Las Vegas and Phoenix both went to Byron, so that's 2 for Hendrick, so that's the first multi-time win. And then Atlanta went to Logano, so that's a 3rd different driver. Or I guess a 4th different driver and 4th different organization. And then we go to Coda. Tyler Reddick in 2311 got their first win of the season. And then we go to Richmond for Larson, his first win of the season, but that would have been Hendrick's 3rd. And then Bristol went to Christopher Bell, which would have been the first win for Joe Gibbs Racing and Bell this season. And then Kyle Larson just won. So that would be 4. So that's 4 for Hendrick and 1 for everybody else.
Yeah, that's wild to think of. I mean, there's no. I can believe it, but it's just like it's wild to even think that.
Watch them fumble the playoffs.
Oh, that'll be really disappointing.
It'd be sad to watch. I don't think they're going to do it. Honestly, if this streak continues, I think Hendrick Motorsports is going to wrap up the championship.
What if?
Oh no!
They all make the Final 4.
Oh, I probably just won't even watch.
An all Hendrick championship 4. Oh my god! Could you imagine it? Like,
it's possible.
Oh, it would be like watching like the cars.
Wasn't there a year where 3 of the 4 playoff drivers were
it
the
was
same?
2019 Joe Gibbs.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, I'm pretty sure those years where Joe Gibbs Racing made up 3 of the 4 playoff spots.
Yeah, it was Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex, and Kyle Busch.
That's right. Okay.
God.
So it's possible. Dude, if all 4 Hendrick cars make the Final 4, that'd be incredible.
That would be funny. I would laugh.
Like, they're all strong, too. Honestly, I think the only driver right now who's even questionable at the moment would be
Alex Bowman.
Would be Bowman, yeah.
But then again, he's known for like notoriously having like random wins.
Yeah, he'll
like
pull one out of his ass.
Just, yeah. Oh my god, that would be hilarious.
Watch him win like Gateway or something.
I think he looks
funsies.
like a guy that would win like Nashville.
Probably. he could probably win. I definitely think he's probably going to win one at some point this season. I think every Hendrick driver is going to win at some point this season. It's just it's a question of when and not if for the Hendrick Motorsports group on when they all win. The big question though is Ryan Blaney, if he's ever going to win a race this season.
I know, because oh, sorry. He's been like on a weird streak. He's just been like, I think 2021, he was like winning 3 races and everybody's like, oh man, he's going to be really good next year. And then 2022 came around and he didn't win anything. And then now it's like, all right, well, when are you going to win? Because like he pulls off like, you know, some decent runs, and then there's some times where he just kind of falls off. And some of it's not his fault, you know, it's just kind of like, you know, wrong place, wrong time. But I think that he's going to win this year.
You think so?
I think there's going to be a point where he's going to win. Some tracks that I'm kind of keeping my eye on is like Michigan. He's pretty good there.
I was thinking more somewhere like Talladega. I don't think he's going to win this weekend at Talladega, but like Ryan Blaney seems to have a knack for leading at the
for like plate racing.
Yeah, I mean he's got a knack for plate racing, but he also has this fun pattern of like leading in the last handful of laps, and then somehow finishing second or third. So.
Yeah, I even like Atlanta. I think he was close to the front too.
Yeah, like, and here's the thing: he finished top 10 in Martinsville too. So it's like it's not like he's not running well, because he is running well. It's just that he just can't, for some reason, they run well early on, and then they just kind of disappear as the run goes on.
Yeah. I mean, last year he probably won the 500.
God, there's so many what ifs in the Ryan Blaney stable, but
yeah.
God.
And I feel like Kyle Busch fell in that category last year too, but that's a whole nother story.
Kyle Busch was dealing with a lot last year. He had a lot going on.
He would have won Vegas. He would have won Pocono. He would have won Vegas twice.
Yeah,
like
he did almost sweep Vegas, huh?
Yeah, but yeah, what can he do?
I mean, not much. But how long do you think it's going to take for Chase Elliott to win? Because that's as strong as Hendrick's been. It's going to take him probably a couple weeks to get their legs back under him. But I think Elliott's going to win.
Looking at videos of him like walking, he looks like he's still like limping just a little bit. So I mean, I think he's like, you know, he's good enough to race, but I don't think he's like 100%. But I don't know, as far as like him like winning, it's kind of hard to say, because like let's see, what do we got?
My wild guess, because I know how good he is at these road courses, my guess is he's going to pull a Kyle Busch and win his first race back at Sonoma.
I was thinking Dover.
You were thinking Dover, okay?
Yeah, because he's good there.
He's pretty good at Dover. I think Dover's too soon, though. I don't know.
Or actually, I think he'll win Kansas.
Okay. Well, I'm sticking with my Sonoma prediction. That's the word I'm looking for.
The Toyota Save Mark 350.
Yeah. That's my guess anyway. I know he's going to win a race at some point. I just think Dover's too soon, or Kansas, and so I'm going to go with Sonoma.
Yeah, I think Sonoma, he has a good chance.
Okay. Any other fun notes you got on Martinsville, or anything in general?
I think I'm done with Martinsville.
Okay. Which I'm almost debating, should we even rehash old news at this point, because it's old news now. We've missed 2 weeks. I think we just gotta.
I guess we can.
Okay.
Just kind of throw it out there.
Okay.
I don't know if you have anything like to talk about it, but.
I mean, the only reason I'm hesitant is because there's really nothing we can say that hasn't already been said or discussed or run over 8 million times. But. So, but I guess the one thing I do want to mention is the Cody Ware situation and how that really wasn't prepared for that one.
No, I wasn't prepared for that either. I think, well, when we first heard about him like taking time off from Bristol, I was just like, oh, okay, well, maybe he's got some personal problems or something like that. And then I think Monday rolled around, and then people were posting his mugshot, and that kind of threw me off. I'm not gonna lie, it was just very.
Am I the one who alerted you to that? Because I put something in the group chat, and both of you were like, "What?"
Yeah, you did. I remember you posted in the group chat, and I think once you texted me that, I looked on Twitter, and then everyone just started talking about it, and it kind of blew up everywhere.
Because I remember, I think it was Saturday when they made the post. It was either Friday or Saturday when they said Cody Ware wasn't going to race, and I was like, oh, damn, I hope he's all right. Because it's like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, shit, something, it's probably big enough that happened. And, you never assume the worst. You never think that they did something. You always think that something weird just happened, that they have to take care of something. And so you're always like, damn, I hope they're okay. Hope everything's great. Mm-hmm. And then, Monday rolls around. It's like, he was arrested for physical assaulting someone. And I was like, oh, I no longer wish him well.
Well, like, somebody said that he turned himself in.
Did he? I thought he was just straight up arrested. Yeah. I missed that part. Like, there's so much floating around. It's really hard to keep track of all of it. But, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that he, there was a warrant, and then he just turned himself in.
Okay. See, that wasn't in the report that I read initially. But I do know he was arrested. He was released on bail. I don't want to make assumptions. We don't know exactly what happened here. But if I were to guess, I'm pretty sure Rick Ware went down and paid the $3,000 bond to get him out. But he was then arrested a second time a couple days ago.
Yeah, which I was like, what?
For additional charges. I'm trying to find it right now, what it was. But I think he... From what I read, he was like making threats or something.
Yeah, I think it was online threats or something like that. I think through like text or something.
Yeah, I think it was something weird going on there. So I'm really not sure what's going on there. As far as I'm aware, he hasn't been released again. I think he's still in custody. He's got a court date coming up, but I just really wasn't. The only thing I can really say is that I really just wasn't prepared to read that headline, pop open Twitter that morning to see that.
No, I wasn't either. It was just really, really, really odd. I was just, like you said, I wasn't really prepared to read that. But then again, like I was kind of reading more into it. I mean, people were doing videos about it, and they were kind of like talking about the backstory of him.
Yeah, that's something I was going to touch on too. Let you finish your thought though.
Yeah, but people were bringing up stories how, he had mental illness. I think NASCAR did a whole video about him, about his, depression, anxiety, all that stuff. And there was one video, I can't remember who brought it up, but it wasn't a video, but actually, I think it was a video, but there was no like recorded audio, but people were pulling up old like radio logs from I think like 2019 or something like that, and it was with Cody Ware and his old teammate, and his teammate like straight up told his dad, he was like, get your son, like, he's mentally like ill. And I think that was from like when he kept like trying to crash him and wreck him, and
I do remember that. Saying, like, I think the radio communication, it was something along the lines of get your son out of the car or something like that.
Yeah. But I mean, doesn't make an excuse for his actions, but it's just something to kind of point out.
Yeah, and that's something I want to bring up too. It's like we've all known his history, and then it was good of NASCAR to bring that up in their video, because it's like before all of this went down, covering something like that is really important. It is really important to bring awareness to mental illnesses and things like depression and anxiety. Like, that is something that gets glossed over a lot, and something I've noticed recently with just society and stuff is that we're starting to kind of look into that more. We're starting to explore it and give it more light than, because it's just been completely ignored a lot in the past. And so when NASCAR came out with that video and Cody Ware, I thought that was a good thing, because it's like, it's a lot more common than people think it is. Like,
yeah,
it's not something that's a rare thing. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's not a thing to joke about that much either. So it's a serious thing that a lot of people actually suffer from. And so to bring awareness to it and help people who don't suffer from it try to understand what's going on, I feel like is really, really important. But that also leads me to what happened the last couple weeks with Cody Ware. And obviously, I don't know his personal life. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And so I'm not going to say anything as fact. But I would hope that with Cody Ware knowing this and being diagnosed with depression and anxiety, that he was getting some kind of help. I'm hoping that he was getting help or treatment or something. And there are better ways to deal with anger issues too, because that's, from what I'm hearing and what I've been seeing out of the Cody Ware situation, is that it's the depression and anxiety to a point where once enough things boil over, he snaps. Like, pretty short fuse temper situation. And I'm hoping he was getting treatment for that. If he wasn't, then I'm not sure why. But he also said in his video that he would want to fight people and he would just get mad for no reason and stuff like that. And so that would hopefully be part of the treatment. But that's where I'm saying, like, you can't use mental illness as a scapegoat. That's not an excuse, because if you're aware of these things, there are ways and steps to approach it where if you realize that that's what happens to you, you need to learn how to take steps back, learn how to defuse yourself before you snap. And so I'm not sure what the situation was that led to this, but it's just a really, really unfortunate situation surrounding Cody Ware right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really unfortunate, and you kind of you said it really well there. I mean, like you said, you hope that he would get the help that he needed, as far as like dealing with that issue, and if he's getting like angry really really quickly, then that's something that needs to be kind of addressed, and you would hope that he would get that extra help to get that taken care of. I mean, it's not easy, but it's something that's really important to kind of focus on, as far as just trying to make sure you go down the right path. Cody, where he, like you said, he had a lot of issues, but you all you can do is just hope that he get the help. But it's great that NASCAR has kind of brought the attention to it, because like you said, people weren't really giving it as much attention as it should. But yeah, I think you said it best there.
Yeah, thank you. But I also want to bring it up too, because it's like what I've noticed in my lifetime too, because I've known a lot of people who have dealt with the same thing and are dealing with just copious amounts of depression and anxiety. And it's just like what I've learned in my lifetime is that a lot of people just don't know how to deal with it, and a lot of people don't know how to deal with somebody who is suffering from that. So it's like, as an example, there are people who just don't suffer from depression, don't have anxiety, but they're friends with somebody who does, and when they have one of their mental breakdowns or they have a depressive episode, they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to react. And that's partially due to it just not being talked about enough. It just not being brought to light enough. And I think that's just something we as a society need to get better at too, is just bringing it to light and learning how to help people. And the thing is, everyone's different. And so you can't treat one person the same, because everybody copes differently. Everybody deals with it differently. But I think part of the reason people snap too, and people who do suffer from these mental illnesses, the reason a lot of them do snap is because just other people don't know what to do when they have their episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely needs to be brought, to it. There needs to be more attention brought to it. like you said, like if somebody's suffering it, they might not be suffering it, but it helps people to kind of help somebody else that might be dealing with it. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, more for the person that's going through it. It can, it can help people out that, that know somebody that can help them out just a little bit better, or what they can do as far as like taking the steps to guide them down like the right path.
Yeah, because I feel like the more light we shed on it, the more we learn, hopefully the less issues we'll have in the future with these kind of things. Because that's just what I've noticed, is that a lot of these things are stemmed from just people not knowing how to treat it, not knowing how to react to it. And once again, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there, obviously. There weren't statements that were said. Nobody really knows exactly what happened. But just from my personal experiences and just knowing what I do know in background context, a lot of people just get angry and they snap because whoever they're with or somebody else in the room or whatever's happening just doesn't know how to diffuse or just doesn't know what to do. And usually sometimes it escalates it, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on the situation. But I do feel like when it comes to things like anger management, depression, anxiety, just mental illness in general, just the more light we shed on it, the more we can teach the general public about it and the common signs and common treatments. I feel like the better we can take care of even our friends or family members who do suffer from it. It doesn't even have to be professional help. Like, even just as a friend or a family member, if you better understand what's going on and how they deal with it, it makes it eons easier to help them get through it.
Yeah. Yeah, you said it best.
Oh, boy. And so, with that heavy topic now addressed, do you have any closing thoughts on just anything in general, Martinsville, NASCAR, anything we've missed over the last couple of weeks?
The fact that Chase Elliott returning was like one of the biggest commercials I've ever seen.
I'm mad. I don't want to say I'm mad about it, but I'm
not mad about it. But
why he got a whole ass commercial.
The amount of advertisements I've seen on it, like I kid you not. So while we were doing this podcast, I was looking on Twitter, and there was one thing I saw from Talladega, and it says, it's a whole promotion for Chase Elliott. It's like, Chase Elliott's back, and it says, sign up for a Q&A with Chase Elliott. And it's just like, man, like, people are like on the gun on this thing. Like, it's everywhere now. Like, you see it on Twitter, Fox Sports, everywhere. So, they made sure it was like announced that like,
oh yeah,
NASCAR's most popular driver is back.
Not to be rude, I understand that he's the most popular driver, so obviously you're going to advertise that he's back. But the way they're treating it, you would have thought he had just like disappeared off the face of the earth for 4 months and then was suddenly found in a Walmart parking lot or something. That he was what?
Like he's Lightning McQueen.
Yeah, you're treating it like a Lightning McQueen. That's perfect. That's the perfect. You nailed it. You nailed it right there. They're treating it like a Lightning McQueen thing, where he just his hauler arrived into where did he break? Is like Vegas? Yeah, like they're treating it like his hauler arrived into Vegas and Chase Elliott was nowhere to be found, and then suddenly Martinsville rolls around and there he is. That's how they're treating this. That's the perfect example. You just nailed it. That's what it feels like right now.
Chase Elliott's back. NASCAR's most popular driver has disappeared.
That's what they're treating it like. Like it's.
That's going to be the caption of today's podcast.
Chris, I got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Did you know that Chase Elliott was back this weekend?
I did not know that.
Wow. God.
That's I had a bar through all the advertisements about Chase Elliott, but yeah, I didn't know about that.
Oh, that's hilarious. You nailed that. That's great.
Oh God.
All right. I'm gonna be laughing at that for the rest of the night. Okay. So other than the painfully obvious, anything else, or are you about ready to look at cut points? Because I forgot to do it earlier.
One more thing I saw right now. They're showing the amount of passes per lap on non-super speedway ovals in 2023. So from 1st to 6th, these are okay. So keep in mind these are non-super speedway ovals.
Okay, so is Atlanta considered? Is Atlanta not part of the picture? So excluding Atlanta and Daytona, then.
Yep.
Okay.
So number 1, we got Fontana, which was a 21.7, which is pretty good. I mean, Fontana put on a great race.
Dude, Fontana was fantastic.
Yeah. Besides all the
Rest
dust.
in peace to our real homie.
Yeah. Bristol Dirt put on a 20.9.
Okay.
Which I was kind of surprised.
I feel like there was no passing at Bristol Dirt. What the hell happened there?
Yeah. So I was kind of thrown off by that. Vegas put on a 14.9, which is pretty good. Not too bad. Not bad for us for a speedway. Right. Richmond, this one kind of threw me off. So Richmond only got 11 for a short track. So I'm kind of iffy about that. So I'm kind of surprised that Richmond didn't have as many passes compared to Vegas. But I guess the racing product made up for it because Richmond actually wasn't bad at all. Yeah. Phoenix was a 9.2. And then the last was Martinsville, which was a 5.8.
Ah, that feels wrong. I feel like the number should be smaller.
Yeah. Sorry. I thought it'd be way smaller.
I'm just being mean now. Okay.
No, I'm not going to lie. I thought the number was way smaller.
Okay, so we're in the same boat on that then. That's an interesting little nugget there.
But I think that includes green and yellow and yellow flag.
Oh, okay.
So
not just green flag passes, that's just passes in general.
Yeah.
Because I don't have anything else because everything else has kind of already been beat to death, and so ready to look at
points.
Cup points. Yeah. So looking at Cup points, I don't remember who was leading the points last time we did a podcast. I'm pretty sure it was Christopher Bell. If that was the case, then nothing has changed at the top. Christopher Bell is still the points leader, followed by Ross Chastain, Martin Truex Jr. in third, Kevin Harvick, and then Kyle Busch in fifth. Another Kyle and Kyle Larson is sixth, followed by Joey Logano. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. still solidly in the top 10, followed by Tyler Reddick and then Ryan Blaney.
Wow, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. fell off the face of the earth.
Oh, did he? He's still 8th in points for me.
He's 13th.
Oof. I mean, he didn't fall that far, I guess.
Yeah. So my points, I got Bell, Chastain, Harvick, Larson, and then Truex in 5th. Reddick, Logano, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Ryan Blaney.
So yeah, there's your good old Cup points. We kind of already loosely talked about Talladega. Who do you? I'm gonna sneeze. Here it is.
Bless you. Bless you.
Okay. All right. So we're going to Talladega next week. So we go from a very teeny tiny little paperclip sized track to
a super duper track.
Yeah, a big boy super duper. Better put on. Go do away with your tidy whities and put on your big boy boxers because we're going to Talladega now. So
that's a good advertisement.
Yeah. So to do this now, I haven't really looked at anything. There's no entry list, but I'm assuming it's going to be the regular players. Let's just do our Cup picks now, and then we can look at the entry list for Xfinity, and trucks aren't racing this weekend, so I guess we can look at. Do you want to do Xfinity and Cup picks, or do you want to just do Cup and look at the Xfinity entry list later?
We can do Cup and Xfinity.
Okay. All right, Chrissy boy. Who do you think's winning Dega?
My pick for Talladega will be Ryan Blaney.
So you're going with the 12.
The 12, and then are we doing? Are you? Oh, I'll let you do your Cup pick.
You said you wanted to do Xfinity too, so okay. So you're taking Blaney. Who do I want to win? I mean, it's hard to go against people like Stenhouse. Stenhouse is always really good at plate tracks, but I'm not sure if he can win Talladega. I'm gonna go. You know what? Can I be brave?
Sure.
I'm gonna be super brave. I think Corey the Joy can probably pull a rabbit out of his hat.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna go with the dark horse. I'm gonna be super brave here. This is gonna blow up in my face like when I picked Jordan Taylor for Coda, but but I'm feeling brave because he's run really well at these plate tracks.
He has.
He's
I'll give
always
him
been
that.
in the mix. And Talladega it's a wild enough track that I think if he's careful enough and everything falls his way, there's a chance. He's been so close. He runs so well at these. It's hard. So I'm gonna be a brave boy. I'm going 7, and then watch it completely backfire.
That's a very brave choice.
It is a very brave choice, but I also, they're both brave choices considering Ryan Blaney's last 2 seasons.
Yeah. For Xfinity, I am gonna go with Parker Kligerman.
You're going the Cliggy man?
The Clingy man.
Okay, I'm going Austin Hill.
Oh.
Easy pick
choice.
For me. I was really hoping you weren't going to say Austin Hill because I was going to just have a meltdown. Yeah, going Austin Hill.
Austin Hill. All right. Mr. Hill.
Mm-hmm. So we have Blaney and LaJoy for Cup and the Cliggy Man and Austin Hill for Xfinity for our Talladega picks. All right. I'm going to regret picking Corey. Corey, if you're listening, don't make me regret this. At least get a top 5 if you're not going to win.
Corey, make sure you push that 12 car.
Nah, Blaney, push Corey LaJoy to a win. It'll be great. All right. Any closing wrap-up thoughts here?
Nope. I think that's it. I think I'm all set.
All right. Well, then, hopefully we'll see you guys after Talladega if the work schedules line up. Corey LaJoy, don't let me down. Ryan Blaney, do me a favor and push him to the win. So,
Blaney, I'll slide you that trilogy.
Slide you the trilogy. I will give you. What do I have?
I'll give you Baby Yoda.
His name is Grogu. You uncultured.
I'll give you Grogu.
He's also now forklift certified. Oh, you haven't been watching Mando, have you?
No.
Oh,
I need to keep up with it.
You need to. Grogu's now forklift certified. It makes me happy. Anyway, before we get off topic, we're gonna wrap up the podcast here. We'll see you guys after Talladega.
All right, see ya.